Welcome back to the Daily Effort Podcast. My name is Sam Funderburk. And if this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. If you are a returning listener, welcome back. We really appreciate you. Now, when it comes to what we really cover here, we're going to be covering a lot of different things related to fitness, mindset, family. I would say if I'm honing it down, a lot of it's going to be practical application stuff so that you can apply it to your life wherever you see fit. And again, the whole purpose of the Daily Effort Podcast is I really want to be able to give you the things that you need so that you can lead yourself well, so then you can execute at a high level on a daily basis so that you can reach a level of success that you actually want, personal and professional, if that is something that you actually care about. So that's a little bit of what we're about. My only ask as we dive into all of this is if you do get value from the episode, please share it, tell a friend, because again, the only way that I'm able to grow the podcast is if, obviously you tell someone about it. So that's a little bit about what we actually cover here. Now, what we're talking about today, the title of the podcast episode is You Are What You Tolerate. And I'm going to be diving in and talking about, number one, how do you raise your awareness around what you are tolerating and also what you shouldn't tolerate. And again, how do you either get rid of some things or maybe keep doing some things that are actually good? Because I would say when we hear you are what you tolerate, it can be perceived as a negative thing when sometimes it's really not. So really diving in and talking about that and really breaking down the term you are what you tolerate. The biggest thing that, if you're going to be thinking about this, the easiest way to think about this is, okay, there's certain things that you do on a daily basis. And really those things, where as you keep doing them over the course of 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, over the course of your life, they start to produce your normal, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing. And you want to make sure that you're constantly taking inventory of what are those things that you are doing on a daily basis, or what are those things that you are allowing into your life, and is it moving you towards where you actually want to go? And that's very, very important. And sometimes this could be you doing this on a weekly basis. Sometimes it could be you doing it on a daily basis or maybe a monthly basis. For me, I do a mix. Sometimes I'll be doing a daily debrief to see, okay, what are the things that I shouldn't be tolerating in my life at this time? And what are the things I am tolerating that I should continue to tolerate and continue to actually lean into? So you gotta remember this, because when it comes to you and where you're trying to go, what I've learned about success is, yes, it is about the things that you do. However, it's also about the things that you don't do. It's both sides of it. It's what you do, and also you decide not to do, and you're making a choice to either get whatever it is out of your life or just not make certain choices. So I'm big on sharing stories, so to drive a point home. But when I think about you are what you tolerate. If I look back at my life, and if I go back to when I was first trying to really take my fitness journey seriously, well, what did I start to tolerate that held me back, and what was just a new normal for me? Well, I'm from the South, and and this is when I was living in Jackson, Mississippi, so I was out of college, and when it was the weekends, and something I would always do, I would typically eat good Monday to Friday, and then on Saturday, it was just a normal thing for me. I would go get a pizza, and I would either buy it from Domino's or Pizza Hut or Papa John's, or sometimes I would just go to Walmart and grab one. Again, stuffed crust, phenomenal. It's great. But when it comes to that, I would, sit down in the evening and I would just eat the whole pizza and watch a movie. That was the thing. That was a normal thing for me. And then also on Sunday, what I would do after church with my buddy, Nick Winters, we would go to Raising Cane's, and we'd both get large sweet tea, cognac, and I mean, just the calories that are in that is wild. If you've never looked at it, I encourage you to look at it. But that's something that I was tolerating inside of my life that was actually holding me back from, getting the best results possible. And a lot of times I was looking at myself and I'm like, man, why can't I start to get leaner? Why can't I start to get shredded like I want? And well, it's because I was tolerating a behavior inside of my life that was my normal and it was okay. And, I needed to enjoy myself. This is what I was telling myself. But again, this is where we have to be honest with ourselves, because if we're trying to get to certain goals, like there's going to be a level of discomfort and we got to accept that. It's like getting to any goal, it's not gonna be easy. And I know I've touched on this over and over again, but you have to accept the fact that it's gonna be hard. And there's gonna be certain things that you will have to give up some, and I don't even want to call it sacrifices, they're more investments, but give up some things to get yourself to where you want to go. And that's up to you. If the goal's really the goal, that's what you're going to do. So that's just one example of something I was tolerating in my life that was holding me back from where I really wanted to go. But also, let's go back to college when I was playing rugby. Again, I was doing training really well. Obviously, I would do CrossFit right before rugby practice, go to rugby practice, which probably wasn't smart, but neither here nor there. Go to rugby practice, train really hard, so I was putting in the work on the field at practice, and then also outside of practice. So that's a good thing. But what was my struggle? Again, nutrition. I was not really focusing on, okay, how can I get a little bit better with my nutrition? I knew like, oh, okay, I need to get some protein, but I really wasn't managing it. I mean, even after rugby practice, I would typically go just drink chocolate milk and eat 2 pounds of hot wings pretty much after every single rugby practice. And again, like a lot of times during rugby, especially during the spring season, you play sevens, and again, those are very fast-paced games. There's a lot of running, and again, the games are only 14 minutes long in the spring, but you're basically sprinting nonstop for 14 minutes. And you play, especially if you're good, like your team's good, you can play upwards to 5 to really 8 games in a day. So you just are burning through some calories. And I'd always be thinking in my mind, well, why do I lose weight? How can I eat so much and I just don't gain weight? And it's not true. I was not eating enough, but I didn't know that because what was I tolerating? I was tolerating not actually learning how to manage the food I was taking in to figure out, okay, how could I gain the weight that I wanted to keep performing? And I performed well, but I could have performed better if I had a little bit more weight on my frame. So that's really what I wanted to touch on first when it comes to you are what you tolerate. Again, what are those things in your life that you are allowing that are holding you back, that are just normal? And again, not that everything is bad, but you have to take an inventory of things to figure out what do you perceive as good or bad, and make sure it's in an alignment with where you're wanting to go really with your life. So the way that I go through this, I'll give you all a great example of this. I'm going to dive through a couple of examples just to help you out, because it's an important concept to actually grasp and really do on a daily or weekly basis. But recently, this was this past Friday, where I was, winding down for the evening, and something that I do, I journal, and I was looking at, okay, well, what should I journal today? And I was like, I need to really reflect back over, and I'm going through Extreme Ownership right now, and I had read a line in there that, again, you are what you tolerate, and this is kind of where the thought came from for the podcast. But I was like, okay, well, what am I tolerating? And I was trying to think through things. I'm like, well, let me just step through my day. So I went through my day, obviously work at 1st Phorm, and something that I do is I talk to a lot of people throughout the day. I mean, that is mostly what I do is, on calls, whether it be a phone call, Zoom call, FaceTime call, whatever it is, and then also in meetings throughout the day. And I started to look at, okay, I want to continue to progress my career. And, move up. Okay, well, what are the things that I am tolerating and allowing as okay behavior that actually aren't, that are holding me back? And as I started to step through my day, I was looking at, okay, well, I know that I need to be present on calls and really focus in and listen to the person. So where did I lose focus during the day? Did I cut any corners with how I was explaining things? Did I give half effort because I was a little tired and I started to listen to my feelings? Did I just check any boxes? Did I just say I did something just to do something? Like, these are questions that I started to ask myself, and as I started to go through the day, or like even at the start of the day, I'm like, okay, because I read 10 pages every single day. Well, how much did I retain from those 10 pages? What did I apply today from those 10 pages? Or from my workout this morning? Well, did I just go through the motions to go through the motions, or did I actually do the workout? And as I started to dive through, I started to recognize, oh my gosh, like, well, I lost focus here. Like, I cut a corner here that I really shouldn't have. I could have explained this better. I could have done this better. Okay, cool, great. Well, I'm going to take these things and that's what I'm going to start to improve on. But again, what this is about, this is how you raise your awareness. Because again, what I was saying at the beginning of this episode is, okay, what I'm going to give you, I'm going to show you how to raise your awareness. And then also when it comes to what you're tolerating, what are the things that you need to get rid of, or maybe what are some of the things that you need to keep. Well, this piece here, how you start to raise your awareness, is by asking yourself questions. And so you can actually detach emotionally and look at things from a 10,000 foot view to figure out, okay, what are the things that you're actually doing well, and what are the things that you should not be tolerating, and then what are the things that you can improve on? It goes back to the 3 questions that I say, I feel like every single episode, but what are you doing well? What aren't you doing so well? What can you improve on? And most of the time we just go through life. It's like we're going through the motions. We're like, oh, I'm doing it. Well, are we really though? Are we truly doing it to the best of our ability? There's a difference between, doing things and then actually doing it. And again, this is the whole point of the podcast is, how can I give you the things that I've seen for myself that work, that have helped me to, raise my awareness, put in better daily effort, on a daily basis, so that I can reach the level of success that I actually want. And this is one of those things. And that's how I went through it for myself, for my day, to see where can I get just a little bit better. So that's just an example of, okay, how do you actually do it, step through it on a daily basis potentially. You just have to start to ask yourself questions and be in tune of where you're wanting to go. So if I'm summing some of this up before I start to go off on a rabbit hole, but how you start to figure out, what are you tolerating, and is it good or bad? You have to, number one, look at where you're going in life. Do you know your goals? Is it you're wanting to move up in your professional career? Are you wanting to, get healthier, get in better shape? Or you want to have a better relationship? So know the goal. You got to know the goal. Know the aim. And then once you are in tune with what you're wanting to do, okay, well, here's the thing. We all know the behaviors that are going to hold us back from getting to where we want to go. But most of the time we just don't take a second to actually recognize it. So, okay, well, once you know the goal, second thing you need to look at, so you can raise your awareness about things, is start to ask yourself questions. And then thirdly, once you've raised your awareness, you've recognized what you are tolerating that you shouldn't tolerate. Okay, now execute, action, fix it. And then guess what happens? Well, you repeat that process. You come back. Okay, are you in tune with the goal? Start to ask yourself questions to figure out, are you tolerating some things that you should not tolerate, and that it's just become normal to you? Okay, then go out and change it and start to execute on it. And I want to say all this: you're not going to be perfect with it. None of us are perfect, and that's okay. That is okay. The point of this is always improving, getting a little better day in and day out, so that you can actually go out and achieve the goals that you want and achieve the level of success that you actually want in life. So that's just the three things really quick. Is like, hey, know your goal, know the aim. Okay, start to ask yourself questions so you can detach or raise your awareness about, what are the things you shouldn't be tolerating. And then 3, change it, go out, execute. So summing that up really quick. Now, for some examples, as far as, well, how do you start to recognize what we need to stop doing? Well, I'm going to walk through a fitness example for you. So let's say you're wanting to get in better shape. Okay, well, are you working out daily, or are you working out 4 to 5 times a week? Maybe you've started to tolerate, not actually working out. Well, get back to that. Most of the time it's really easy to say, oh man, it's like, I've just gotten older. My metabolism has slowed down, which is not true. You've just probably stopped moving less, which is the hard truth. And again, you've just started to tolerate less movement in your life. So you need to get out and get moving. So, okay, are you working out consistently? Is there, if you're wanting to get healthier, or are you eating well? Have you started to tolerate, eating foods that you shouldn't? And again, what I mean by that is not that foods are good or bad. It's just the fact that, okay, well, look, here's the thing. If you're wanting to get in shape, no matter what someone says, it's like there's going to be some foods that you just can't have all the time. Look, I love ice cream. I love pizza. I love wings. I love freaking French fries. However, I can't have that stuff all the time because it's so calorically dense, and it's going to completely throw me off my plan. That's just the truth. Now, can I find healthy alternatives that, kind of feel the sweet tooth? 100%. Just for example, since I love ice cream, Ninja Creamies is a great option. They're fantastic. So just an example, like, are you starting to eat things that you shouldn't? And then starting to ask yourself questions off of that. Like, are you starting to, maybe is it something in your environment that's causing you to eat things that you shouldn't? Is it that you have foods in the house that you shouldn't and they're just there so you eat them? Is it a certain group of friends that you notice that you're starting to, when you go and they're causing you to get off track? Like, walk through a typical day and start to look like, okay, well, what are the habits you have started to tolerate that are not in alignment with where you want to go? Then change them. That's the goal. And again, you're not going to change all of them just overnight. You have to slowly start to, pick one, attack it, and get better and better and better. Pick another one and build and build and build and build and build. That's how you start to get to where you want to go. Or maybe it's with your professional career. Like for myself, I started to go through, okay, well, Am I just starting to talk a lot throughout the day and not get the work done that I need to? What's distracting me? Am I just, going through the motions with a project? Am I giving half effort and not really thinking through how to write this email? Or did I give half effort when I was getting ready for this meeting? That's just an example. Or it's just maybe in your personal life, you're just trying to be better. Maybe you're trying to, start to get up earlier so you can get things done. Okay, well, that's the goal, getting up earlier. Okay, well, what are the things that you're tolerating that are making it difficult? Are you staying up late and watching TV? Are you scrolling on your phone late at night and that's causing you to, stay up way too late and then you can't get up a little bit earlier to actually get done what you want? Like, what is that? And it's like for anything, like, what is causing you to get off track? What are the things that you're tolerating in your life that you need to start to eradicate and get out? Like, no different. It's just interesting, like how we can look at different things in life and see, and really if we look at life, it is very simple, but most of the time we just don't stop to actually look at it. But for example, if you're sick, well, again, you're going to start to, taking things to make yourself better. It's like you're going to start to do things that make sure you're strengthening your immune system. You're being very proactive, and you're also like not putting yourself in certain situations to necessarily get sick. Like if you're wanting to stay healthy, okay, you just don't go and hang out with people who are just sick. Like it's just common sense. But again, like you can take that example and apply it to your life. Okay, is there somewhere or something that you're wanting to go towards? And okay, well, are you truly doing the things that you need to do to actually get there? So that's really what you need to do to really see, hey, are you tolerating certain things that you should not tolerate in your life? Because at the end of the day, you are what you tolerate. And a lot of times you can look at this from a team perspective as well, but I wanted to talk about from an individual basis today. So again, you are what you tolerate. Like, if you tolerate eating, foods that you shouldn't, okay, well then you will, not have the, healthiest body. It's like, if you are tolerating maybe negativity on a team, okay, well then the team is going to be negative. It's like, what are the things that you're tolerating that you shouldn't, that you think are normal, but they're actually not normal? We just haven't taken a step back to see, okay, well, what do we need to really change so that we can continue to move forward and achieve the level of success that we actually want? So in closing, what I got for y'all is, number one, if you're going to figure out what, like, the things you should not be tolerating, or are you tolerating the right things in your life? But most of the time, again, remember, success, it's about things that you do, but also the things that you don't do as well. So this is more about recognizing the things that you should not do and stop doing them, stop tolerating them so you can move forward. So number one, be in tune with where you want to go. Know the goal, know the aim. Then secondly, start to ask yourself questions around that. So then you can detach, you can start to be more aware of what's actually happening. Because most of the time, this is what the top two things that I see that where most people go wrong with this, where they don't start to push things out of their life that, shouldn't be in it. Well, number one, they either don't know where they want to go, or number two, they're not taking a step back to recognize these things so that they can actually change them. So know the goal, know your aim, then start to ask yourself questions. And then number three, take action, actually fix it. Once you recognize the issue, fix it. And again, you're not going to be perfect, and you just have to accept that. But if you can do this over and over and over and over again, you can start to execute better on a daily basis and start to achieve that level of success that you actually want in life. So if y'all have more questions about this, please hit me up. Let me know. Again, if you found value from this, please share the episode. We're on YouTube as well. So if you'd rather watch it, we are over there. But other than that, have a fantastic day. I appreciate all of you. But other than that, have a good day and God bless.